The story of New York is a story of change. Change is really the only constant in its history, and Nolita's story is no different.
This area here was farm country. It was all farm families. It was the Delancey's to the east, the Bayards and the Lisbonards to the west.
And they actually grew cherries here.
Cherries.
Cherry groves as far as the eye could see.
And then the Irish came. 1820 to 1860, Irish immigrants were never less than a third of all immigrants coming into the States.
I know, that blows my mind.
So, real estate developers, they started to build tenements to accommodate these.
And it was all about cramming them in, 6, 8, 10, a dozen people to an apartment, 25 or 30 apartments to a building.
Not including the back houses that were built to house another 20 or 30 people.
And don't forget the hole in the ground they all had to share.
It's brutal. Poverty and tight quarters. There's crime. It's just had to have been a dangerous and fragrant neighborhood.
Yeah. So at the first opportunity, the Irish got out, just in time for a wave of Italian immigration.
And over 500,000 Italians settled here. They were trying to recreate the old country. It's an immigration pattern that you see happening to this day.
And it more or less stayed that way through the better part of the 20th century.
But with rents skyrocketing in the 1990s all over the city, real estate brokers and developers were scrambling to call this area something other than what it was.
Little Italy. A 1996 article in the Times actually put the moniker Nolita in print for the first time.
Right, it's north of Little Italy.
It's stuck.
Yes, genius. Boutiques are the new immigrants here now. Best shopping on the planet.
It's a hotbed for both established and emerging luxury retail.
And you've got Rag & Bone,
Thomas Sayers,
Tracy Fife.
Most of the apartments in the neighborhood are small, and many of them are pied-à-terres. They all command incredibly high rents and sale prices, though.
Walking past 211 Elizabeth Street, you might not notice it, but it's actually a brand new building.
Yeah, but it looks like an old-timer. It's subtle. It's not screaming for attention.
I like it because it's got traditional architecture from a classic era, and it just blends right in with all of its, these old-time neighbors.
Yeah, and it's got these historically evocative details. It's got the double-hung windows painted black.
It's definitely one of the most unusual buildings that's gone up in recent years, I think.
No doubt. People will be talking about it for years to come.
It's kind of an update to the 19th century tenement, right?
Yeah, it's like a tenement that's been dressed to the nines, but there's only 1 or 2 people living in each apartment now instead of a half dozen or a dozen.
Nolita is the embodiment of the American dream. It's the quintessential rags to riches story.